Marcelo, welcome. I'm Sarah Betancourt with GBH News. We just want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and to the public about your experience. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Where are you right now?
Um, I don't, to be completely honest, I don't know where I am right now. Somewhere in Milford.
Okay. And I mean, first off, it's been a few days since you were released from the Burlington ISAP office. How are you doing right now in this moment?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing a lot better than being there. Um, I've been praying. I've been working on myself a little bit. I've been getting better.
Okay. And I mean, you got back home last week. That first day, there was a lot of media coverage. We saw a lot of signs and people in front of your home. Eh, What were the first moments like when you actually got to see your family privately and your friends?
It was good. It was nice. I love the support that everybody gave. Coming in and sticking my head out of the car, like it made me super happy. I was able to hug my friends, my family. Obviously me hugging my dad and my mom, we all cried. But yeah, it was nice.
And so now that you've been home a few days, what has your life been like? Like the first night when you were home, I mean, what was the experience like, after being stuck in that facility for 6 days?
I had a lot of friends over. Thankfully they stayed. We got to play some video games. I got to talk to my parents. For the most part, yeah, a couple of friends slept over and we were able to hang out.
Um, and I know just from the press conference, I know your first meal out was McDonald's, and you got to experience that. But like in the days after that, like, have you been able to be a teenager again? Like, what have you been able to do?
Yeah, I've been able to go to my school. My principal told me I could come. I was able to see my teachers, see a couple of my friends. I've been able to go outside, take a walk, the general.
So, stepping back a little bit into what happened, are you able to briefly summarize what happened the day you were pulled over and sort of just briefly walk us through what occurred and what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I didn't really understand why I was being pulled over at first. They didn't give me an explanation or a reasoning for pulling me over. They didn't ask me anything about my dad or my mom. They didn't ask me anything about my family, which I would guess is weird because if you check my license, I'm 18 and usually you should ask where is your family or where are your parents. But yeah, they just put me in handcuffs. He told me that I'm an immigrant, I'm illegal, and he put me in his car and we went from there.
Mhm. And once you got to the Burlington field office, I know you mentioned there had been a woman you talked to who sort of gave you a sense of why you were there. Could you recount a little bit about what that experience was like and what she told you?
Um, yeah, she was the only woman that I guess kind of knew about the news, and I'm pretty sure she heard about me because she told me. I guess maybe that's what brought her to be a little nicer than any other guard in there. But yeah, like she explained my situation, why I was there. I ended up telling her that like I was 7 years old, like I didn't know anything about a visa. And she kind of felt some sympathy toward me because of that, but at the end of the day, she said she couldn't do anything for me and put me in the cell.
And you came in on a student visa when you were 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Okay. And like did you have any sense that, it had expired and sort of what your status was going into this, or were you completely blindsided?
I was blindsided. I didn't know. I was growing up in America, growing up in school here, getting identification cards, getting my license, which is like something a lot of immigrants looked forward to in Massachusetts is like when they were able to get their license, it's like some sort of identification. Like a lot of us thought like, wow, this could be getting better for us immigrants. Things look good. I would say this happened and this came down, but yeah, I didn't know.
The day it happened that you were detained, like I know you were on your way to volleyball practice. What was that day supposed to be like for you? I mean, was it just like an average Saturday in Marcelo's life?
Yeah, it was. I was supposed to go to practice. I was actually really excited to go that day. I was ready to really play. I was probably gonna go home after, take a nap, hang out with my family. Usually I don't have friends over and like back then. But yeah, I would have hung out with my family, would have done homework that I had to do, study for finals, things like that.
The first night that you were there, did you have a chance to talk to your family to at least let them know you were where you were?
Not the first night. Only the next morning I was able to call my dad and let him know that I was there. It was for 2 minutes, and like for the most part, he was crying.
And I guess what were the conditions like? I mean, that first night and then moving forward in Burlington.
It was cold. Outside of the cells it was cold, but inside of them it was really hot because there were like 35 men, and we would always like beg them to leave a little gap on the door open. We obviously sleep on concrete. We would have like aluminum foil as like our blankets. There was only one toilet. Um, Most of them in there were actually sick because it was really cold. A lot of us were sick. We had no sanitary items or anything like that. We just stayed there.
Were you during that time, like what kept you going? This is obviously a very difficult situation for a teenager, or really anyone. What really kept you hopeful or, you know, kept your spirits going those days?
I had, I had no one else in there but Jesus. That's my belief. That's what I prayed for. I asked Jesus to guide me in there, give me strength, give me power. I asked him to use me for his glory. Whatever he needed me to do in there, I asked him to use me. Um, he was definitely my stronghold.
The day you were released, you said, all glory goes to God. Do you feel like you were heard? And what what's your reflection like after this experience?
Yeah, I believe I was heard a lot because I said all glory goes to God because our community came together, and like people that didn't pray decided to start praying. People that never had faith in God decided to have some sort of faith. All glory to God because I was able to leave that place, you know. I was able to get out unlike a lot of people, and I only have thanks to give to him.
When you were in the facility and, your lawyers were advocating for you, your parents, community members, even your siblings putting out a public video, was there ever a moment that you thought, I might be deported, I might not be here close enough to home soon?
hmm Um, yeah, I was very scared to be transported to like a different state or a different place. Surprisingly, a lot of people would say that the prison would be way better than there. Like everyone in there wanted to go to prison. That's how bad it was. In prison, you get a bed, you get a phone, you get to go outside and actually see daylight. But yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Marcelo, you mean like the Burlington processing office being very different from like an ICE detention facility that's actually like
Yeah.
incarcerated?
Yeah, it's surprisingly I thought where I was, which was the detention center, was like the good place. Turns out it was the worst one to be at. You couldn't go outside, you couldn't do anything, you couldn't leave your cell unless they called your name. You couldn't see daylight, you couldn't do anything there.
Were there any showering facilities or anything to really for hygiene?
No, we didn't get to shower. There was just a toilet and a sink, no shower, no sanitary things. Most people that were there for like 3 to 4 days, you could smell the room. It wasn't pleasant.
And while you were in there, you mentioned you're multilingual. You assisted other people who might need it, have needed interpretation. What was that experience like seeing these grown men around you? Like, what were your interactions like?
It was for the most part sad. I had to tell a lot of them that they were going to be deported. But I also got to tell a lot of them that they were going to have court and that they had hope. For the most part, I told them to all pray. It's always good to pray, always good to put it in God's hands. The most interesting thing from there is that like the papers that they came in with, at the end of the papers there would be a signature of the guard and it would state that like the guard read everything to them and they understood. Obviously that wasn't the case because they always came and asked me.
And when you were being released, did the people around you know what were your final interactions with them like?
Um, Before I got released, press came and press was going to do a checkup on the detention center. So, the guards actually sent every single immigrant in every cell to a bunch of different prisons that they weren't supposed to go to, that weren't on their papers. They just flew all the immigrants out. And by the end of it, it was just like me and like three or four more guys that had court and had to stay there. But they like cleaned up the whole place. Out of like 100 immigrants that were in there, they all disappeared. They all went to like airports. I heard some of them got delivered to Texas, to Louisiana, places like that, places where they weren't supposed to go.
Why do you think that was?
I mean, obviously, because didn't want press to see what was going on down there. They know that what they were doing was unorganized and it wasn't right. It was unfair. So they did whatever they could to clean up and get everyone out of there. They even like they ended up kind of like going into ourselves and like saying if your name isn't on the paper, write your name on it so we can get you out of here. And most people would be happy because like they're going to a prison, but nobody knew the reason. And I only found out the reason when I got out and press said that they were going to check the place.
And when you say press, was this the day that specifically Congressman Moulton and Congressman Auchincloss went over, the two of them, to check out the facility?
Yep, that's what I meant. Yeah.
All right. So since you were released, like, are you going to continue your studies? When does school end?
School's over for me now. I only come back in fall. I hope to like get into some plumbing courses this month. I definitely want to continue to like somewhat be an activist for immigrants. I like working for immigrants. It means a lot. To make other people happy, and if God can continue using me, then that's the goal.
Marcelo, I saw like on Instagram you promoted someone's GoFundMe. it- I don't know if it was one of the people you met at the Burlington facility. Why share these stories? Why is this important to you?
Um, I promised all of the inmates down there that I would get their stories out and tell everybody about what happened down there and how unfair it was. I promised that if I ever saw them again or was able to get in contact with them, I would help them. And I promised that I would do whatever I can in my power to um, just help them progress in general, help them and their families. He was one of the first ones that I found, and the only one as of right now. I don't know where the other people are, but I was able to find him and his family, and I just promoted his GoFundMe to help him out.
Has he since been released?
He has court today. He has. Hopefully, he gets bond in the name of Jesus. Yeah.
And Marcelo, just getting back to you, I mean, it's been, I I think, nearly a week since your release. How have you felt with your own safety? Have you been able to leave the house, without police escort? Or are you concerned about being redetained?
Yeah. Usually, I've left the house with police escort. But lately I've been able to like go outside a little more. Walk around, take a walk in the park. Things like that. Yeah.
And what is it like to do the things that a teenager does with someone accompanying you?
Um, I definitely feel a little bit more safer. Um, but it kind of feels weird because like I don't know, I kind of want things to go back to normal. Like I don't know. Yeah.
I guess one of my last questions is like, have you been able to do anything fun? Have you been able to like experience something that has gotten your mind off of things?
I was able to go to a pool party at my uncle's house. That was nice. Yeah. Just yesterday.
Have you played any volleyball?
Yeah. I think we played there. I mean, I haven't played with like a net or anything yet. But yeah, hopefully.
Mm. I know your siblings were so eager for you to come home. What has it been like for with your interactions with them? And I mean, how does it feel to finally be able to be with them physically?
I made them their favorite food, their chicken tenders in the air fryer. They were super happy. I've been able to lay down with them on the couch, give them cuddles, show them love, thank them for whatever they did to their support, and yeah, just comforting them, letting them know that I'm back and I won't leave again.
And my last question is what comes next for you this summer? I mean, as you approach your next court dates, what's going through your head?
I've just been taking it day by day lately. Hopefully everything goes right, everything goes good. I'm praying for my cause. I'm praying for everyone around me. But yeah, I've just been going it day by day. Yeah.
All right. Marcelo, is there anything else that you want to tell the public? All right.
Um, just definitely to spread love and spread peace instead of violence. I feel like love is the unity of everything. Love is what brings people together and helps people work harder.
Well, Marcelo, the best of luck, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with GBH News.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Take care.